Hello, once again, and a very, very warm welcome to another edition of African Stars Club Legends. Well, joining us today is Mr. Rasta, Ngajoo, Bethuel, Mbuende. There's so many names that we get. And so, Kayo, one of the best football playing center backs. When I'm saying football playing center back, you don't know all day he punch center backs, just hook the ball up tackle and whatever. He could play football, bring the ball up, very calm under pressure. Obviously, one of my favorites, my personal favorites. Rasta, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Kant. Thank you for having me.
Rasta, if my recollections of me right, I think you are actually not a late starter, okay, late starter in terms of Namibian football. We're unknown entity, and you left at an early age. You went to Botswana. I know before that you played some football there or in the lower division in Kumamas. But when you came from Botswana, you were a refugee in Botswana. But when you came back, we just saw somebody different. We had about this Rasta, but most of the guys who came back from outside, we knew them. They were top footballers. Now becomes an unknown entity, surprises everybody with a different type of football. Can you please maybe take us through your football journey, from where it started?
Thank you, Carlos. It's a privilege to be in this program, and I'm very happy for those initiator of this program because it's keeping us at least everyone to his history and all these things. Uh, Thanks for the question. I started my football in Katutura, um, in front of Kashimune School, uh, with people like Mondi Javera, Carpio, Cholangoro. We played there, started with that plastic balls, and we're always playing there. And every time you have to watch Mr. Kambauru Kambe, the traffic, and there were Penomba, and there was no need of seeing who's playing there because he used to know us, the same people who are playing there. So in the evening time, you must get you have to be beaten about that. So I play around there, and I didn't start my school at Tiokashimune, where everyone started because our house was in front of Tiokashimune. I decided to go to the big school. I said the big school. Then I went to Pefortimune School. So I started there, and I was a favorite to my grandfather, the old teacher. So he too was our teacher. Yeah. So he was at St. Barnabas Bible. We knew a Bushman school that side of Maheke. So he went with me for the Sun community, Sun community. So I was there with him. He did you along. Yes, because I was one of his favorite son when it come to football because he was also a football player. Yeah, so I will play the founder members of the Picket Stars from Juvenile, I thought of it would be Juvenile Football Club. So, so that's why we were playing. When you are young, I used to play everywhere. Sometimes goalkeeper, sometimes forward, every position. So that's how I end up moving on with football. And I went to Lister School at Mbuende, and there you could find a lot of talents there, people who were playing good football. And with my career, I could not playing with a lot with my age mate. I used to play with these big people, and that's why I've grown up in football. You also had a stint with Maroon Brothers in Columbus, that league setup. So how was it like the standard of football before you left the cargo? Yeah, when we were playing it, Ocean been there at one day, I used to have my big brother, and we used to play together football. And he was a class. He was a very class one. So unfortunately, it was on 1983, and that was the year. Then I went to Paco Secondary School, and I start playing for Maroon Brothers. They pick me up there when we are playing around at school there, and they pick me up and I start playing that side. Hubabes, there were the likes of Jomo, the likes of these teams like Chief Sandos and Pirates and uh, all these good teams who was carrying the flag that side.
And when you went to Botswana as a refugee, you were obviously staying in the refugee camps, but you managed to squish yourself in the squad of Botswana police team, and you were a regular starter. Those were one of the top two township rollers and a couple of other teams there. How was the standard of football in Botswana when you arrived?
Before I went that side, we're having a team in a camp, the refugee camp. So
Well, you stay at the Mogodisane, where you stay?
what no, this then we went to Francis that side of Francis office. Yeah, and there were good players. There were players like Katiko. I think you remember. Oh, remember? There was very good. I was good on the skillful there. So there was a very good pass of the boy. I was good. Yeah. So yeah. So we're having the two Maroon Brothers guys who were playing together around here. One of them was Terence, and this guy was very fast and pulse fitted. And we were having a nice team. There was a teacher like Tupiasa Korea. I think you might be knowing him. He was also a Debra. Uh, so there were good players around. Even Mr. Shivikwa Shora, when he came from ambulance, he take us.
Very, very strong, very energetic, tireless. It was a bull terrier, yeah. So every year at the end of the year, this team Tuffy from Francistown. Yeah, Tuffy. Yeah, used to 10 years well, yeah. I think they played with Liverpool around. Yeah, they played goalkeeper was super.
So they come and pick me up there. We're having a game. We're two with another South African guy. And they pick me up to go and start playing for Tawi. But I could not play for them because when I went to Francistown, I found this guy, Mr. Mbuende, uh, and Onesimus. These guys were from Germany. They were coming to do uh, their work of this building and all these things. So I joined them. So I could not join the team. So these guys moved to Gaborone. So I ended up moving with them. So there was this guy, Victor Kaganyati. He was at UB, the University of Botswana. So I went to visit him there. You were talking
was it all of this? It's not
yes, yes. So we were talking about touchy brawlers. So the touchy brawlers in Botswana, they were top team. They were top team, but they were these the players were the learners. It was students.
students.
Yeah. So they find me with Victor, and Victor was telling, no, this guy is the football player. They picked me up. Very early in the morning, there was a policeman called Eti Meroro. He passed on. Uh, he heard about the story. Before I wake up, he was already there. So he took me, kidnapped you. And yes. So this question was clear. Do you want to get back to Tukwe, to the refugee camp, or do you want to play for a police league?
Actually, blackmail.
So I said, for me to get back, I do not work. So I've already joined police league. That's how we join police. That's how we join police. But we're having a section of training where Chibikwa was there. We're having trials. These other two guys from Menubas were there. We're almost 8 players. So I used to play midfield. But I went and asked before we play the game. I asked who's the best player of Police. They told me about a guy called Peterson, and he was a forward, a Zimbabwean guy, very tall and strong. So I went to my guys. I told them, no. You know that guy is a very strong man. It's the best player. So leave him for me. I will take care of him. So I end up playing at the back now. So I have to watch this man. So the coach was a Zimbabwean too, but he could not see any way where Peterson could touch the ball or playing the ball. But now the problem was with the managers of the team and the coach, they differ because the coach was thinking of Peterson is not playing. But the manager was saying, no, I'm not playing football. So they cannot take me because they don't see anything. Botswana football is like South African football. Let's touch. So if you don't touch those things, they will not think that you are a good player. So the coach went to Eddie and please tell the guy to play. And he was asking me, which position are you playing? And I asked him, what problem do you have? Which problem do you have in your team? So I'm the solver of your problem. So that's why we talk, and he decided to go and talk to those people. He said, just give me a chance with this man, and then I will come back to you. In the afternoon, I told Katiko, so we are going to play now. We'll play in the midfield with you. So don't pass anyone. So we'll play the ball. So that's where they saw me and said, no, we can take this guy, but where can we use him? So I told them the problem is solved. They were having a problem with the defensive, and I joined the defensive, and that's why I started playing for Police.
Looking at the overall style of play, you would think totally different game. I mean, I know a lot of center backs with great center backs, and we talk about it against us. From the days of Kidi, with Albert with Karim, your style was more similar to one of Willie Reader. And I think he's the man who came to change the entire playing style of everything. Started playing from the back, not moving the balls away. Where did you learn this style of play?
I think, I don't know, when I was in Kobabes, teacher Isaac Oitele used to call me right arm Foki. So me, I didn't watch right arm Foki, but we used to call
The right foot, but
yes, yeah.
very dangerous.
So, but when I started playing for Police 11, we changed the way of playing from behind, and our free man was the a midfielder, so the captain of the team. So at the back, everyone would pick up his man, but I was the last man picking up. So I have to put the ball down and start playing to these guys so that the game can move on. So if I kick the ball, then we cut the free man who's supposed to make the game. So that's why we have changed the whole thing. That's why I decided that was my normal football. When you're playing up front and midfield, if you start there, you don't kick the ball like that. So I started playing there in the midfield and up front. So for me to play at the back and to hold the ball was more easier. And to me also to look to strikers. If I see a striker who's coming up to here, or look at him, just call. When I used to call Katija, just play the ball here. He said, no, there is a man. I said, just play here. Start playing. Fit. Yeah. So that was something in me. I have confidence because my colleague Bimbo used to say to tell people that this is the man who came and teach us how to play football from behind.
Really, that's a good comment. But to be brutally honest, in those days, I mean, I was always in China. Um, uh, if you look at the standard of football, a lot of things have changed now in terms of dynamics and a lot of things. But in your opinion, the standard of Botswana football at that time, in comparison to our standards, how did you find it?
Uh, you know, um, if somebody talk the truth, I see the Namibian country of footballers.
I don't want to put those words into your mouth, Kathy. Yeah, to do the task.
I know Namibian players are quality. I would even see myself when I see Mohammed went to Chiefs. Uh, that was the time we were also playing.
Let's quickly cut it. Okay, you know what happened? We went with the Brave Warriors to Zimbabwe. I was there, it's a journalist. And the scouts came in. And there was Kevin Hunt, its brother-in-law, I forgot his name. They they came actually with it. I had to sign Robert Nelson. And we were seated together. We were staying in the same hotel, so we were talking. So we became friends. And actually, I told him, listen, you must sign that number 12. It was the Muhammad also. That guy is a very good player. But their idea was to sign Robert Nelson. But Robert didn't have a good game. And they ended up signing Tavia Murewa from Zimbabwe forward. But in later years, when I had bumped into Kevin Hunt in Joburg, he was telling when Mohammed have signed for Cassis, said, yeah, you advised us to sign that guy. We could have signed that guy for Eleni. Made a big mistake not signing Mohammed Ozan. Mohammed Ozan was class. He walked into that Cassis team straight away from Tuma. So, Nati.
Yeah. So you could see that time when Mohammed went, he was not up to standard, you see. But every player from Namibia to South Africa, you will end up being the best player of the year, the best player of the tournament. It's also like Otto now.
I think we have to get on the subject. I always tell people that, like you said, we had account to the footballers. The talent is there. If you look at the South African leagues, the best players they are Namibians. And in my honest opinion, me that is in a footballer opinion, football. Most of those players, Dion Horto, uh, fellow leader, these guys, in my opinion, they were average players. See. They were not the best players, but sometimes you need that luck to hit the jackpot. But they are the top players there in the South African league. What does that tell us about the quality of Namibian players?
Let me get back to your question, the quality of Botswana Namibian league this side. But by our time that side, Botswana was having a lot of foreigner players, although they could use 3 players, but everything that need to perform. And you used to have foreign players, Zambian players, Zimbabwean players. So I used to be among those foreign players, although the likes of Herman were there also, and he played for, is it Herman Chiboya? He was also very young. Yes, he was playing for Tachi Brothers before he left. Yeah, before he left the country. Very skilled. Yes, and also he left a mark there. When I joined Police 11, they know that there was a preparing woman. Yes, even if this guy is,
Really, I would say together that great left foot, both feet, the shooting was very fast.
so that's why they are league.
And Mohibe as well.
Yes,
Mohibe Munzo.
yeah. Well, was a standard. There was a standard in there. They set the standard. That you see, but also when they were using this best player of the match, will get a check or something like that, and a top goal scorer. So normally we used to. This is the thing that used to encourage us, because every time after playing, we used to have a place where we go foreigners and enjoy ourselves by knowing that the check from Mbuende will come because of the best defender and best striker and all those other people. So we used to have that nice time. But Namibia, with itself, it's having a quality players. With all the tribes, you will get football all over the country.
When you came back, how did you arrive? How did you join the Stars? Because we just saw somebody who was not only player, but never heard of. I mean, when you left, you were a small boy, nobody knew about it. But then suddenly we are hearing about this Rasta guy. We used to call you Rasta, you. And who brought you to Everton Stars?
Uh, when we returned back, we used to be at the house of the former player Opet Cambrona.
Yes, he was the captain.
Yes. So we used to gather there. So this player, by that time, the leader was Stanley Kolongwe. So he used to also to be there. Jiva Kawami used to be there. Yoko, all these African Stars players used to come there to that place of the former player Opet Cambrona. But now the man who brought me is this man Opet Cambrona. But by that time we were enjoying because now that side we were having tough time. So we were just enjoying. I didn't want to play football. So I was trying to be just with this group around here, having nice time, and all these things. I end up putting my complaint of that I don't have soccer boots. He went and buy those things. So he took me. By that time, the team was training at showground. So he took me there. So when I arrived there, there were fire there because every time when you arrive there, you go have to have the ball, give it either to Bernard Newman or to Pule Shonde, and then this guy have to pass the ball to you. Now knowing that how Newman and Pule they have that power shot, and so when they shoot the ball to you, I put it down, and then Yoko was saying, "Hey, this Mutariri now even down." So he was saying that it's looking good to this guy because the way he's dropping the ball and putting the balls down. So that's why I end up at African Star.
I also feeling so kind of like in a new atmosphere. Sometimes when you're a new guy coming into a new environment, you always find some players who just feel that this guy, they try to make things very difficult for you because you're coming to take their places or place of their friends. So where you accepted, fully accepted, or where is some kind of animosity amongst, I guess.
Um, Let me say that I was fully accepted because most of the senior players like Jirakawami, because of gathering at the same place there in Katutura, Obed Camerona's place. So when I went there was no fear, and also that because of I was in exile too, so living with a lot of people, playing for Police 11 with the different players. So I was not having any fear of that because I was a free man and I know when I come and I'm doing something, then it depends on me giving myself out and have that discipline of me. So it was not tough for me because the toughest thing was when you look to the players who were playing for Stars, you can count two teams. So for you to end and getting that position, it's just a prayer to say that let me have that chance to show. So many of the people will ask you, which position are you playing? Is it midfielder? They will count a lot of midfielder there. They will not count those ones who are playing. They will count those ones who are sitting on the bench. Those who are bulldozers. Yeah, where do you want to?
Now you must have really had a heart of steel. You're coming into a new team, center back, and they're very, very bad position in any team. And you are the kind of guy who don't just hook the ball up. And African stars supporters, they can be very volatile at sometimes. And you come and play with confidence, get the ball, play from the bench. They say, hey, they're screaming and swearing and say, yeah, you must keep the ball out of play and all these things. Were you not affected by the fans? How did you manage, really to be calm and play your normal game under such circumstances?
No, no. I could sometimes, when you are doing something, Carlos, when you are a footballer, just if you focus, if you focus on something what you're doing, you end up not listening from outside. But you could hear the way they are screaming, but I could know what I'm doing in a sense. So I came with let me say a bit of experience. And even at the Police 11 where I played, I once one day make a tackle and they give a penalty on not Lion Cup. So after this penalty on the last minutes, so every crowd was saying any word. But I recover from that side and I end up scoring the two goals, the equalizer and the winning one. So I know that to take the pressure. So I came from that side. But I could know that for me to play proper football is to start from behind and start playing because sometimes like when at the end we're having this player Domingo. So
Only he was the best foreigner ever played in the world.
So he used to cry when people are kicking the ball. So he used to come to me and say, please, please, I know, pick me, put down so that we can play. Once you put down, you will see him pick up the ball in your feet and start moving. Give to Costa or someone, then pick it up. It's just like that. So I could find those combinations. People like Waka, you could also wanted the ball to his feet also. So we're having a great players, ball players, not kicking players and all those things. So yeah, to me, it was more easier to enjoy.
I think if I will remember, you, you also became captain of Every Stars. Um, it just new guy who came to the team. I mean, there were a lot of senior players ahead of you in the team, and suddenly now you're captain. How did it feel like really leading such a good bunch of players and such a big team? I mean, Everything Stars is a very big team. You can feel it when you play against them. You can feel it when you play for Everything Stars. In dressing room, when you walk out of that turnout, the moment you look at the crowd, I mean, you start shivering like a fired up Buru orchestra. I mean, how was it little like? We bestowed with the captains up, but
Uh, it happens when we went to Pujimai. Um, so it's where they elected me as a captain there because it was an international game, and you need to talk to these people, and so it happens that
because of your fluency, the language communication, yes.
yeah. So from there, I don't know about Albert Chiero, those other captains, Nico Injo, but for me, I was a elected captain because I was elected by the player.
Or not players. So you're not chosen by the coach.
No, no, yeah. So I was elected by the players, and we were having this bit of problem of maybe senior players, their training times. They used to come 2 days or one day. So for people to change, they wanted someone who's committed and all these things. So they select me for that.
Now, during your time at African Stars, what was your highlights, memorable moments of what trophies and great matches and just take us a little bit through those moments.
Uh, there was a game, and if because this player for Black Africa who passed on,
Bernard Ducot,
no, 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 he was also in Calfred there. I don't know. He was Sorbo, was it Calfred? Yeah, Calfred. Yeah. And not as a Calcarat when you're going to the south. Um, Set Boys.
all set boys.
Yeah. I saw him one day and Smedley came to me and he was greeting me with a big honor. And this guy was asking, who's that person? He said, no, it's Rasta Mbuende. He said, no, let me tell you, how do I know Rasta Mbuende? He picked up a ball from behind against Black Africa and he scored. So that was a great game because I played only, I think it was only 2 touch. Uh, and then I played the last touch with Costa and then he brought it back to me and I scored. So, and Black Africa, the previous day, they won Orlando Pirates because Orlando Pirates beat them 3-0 and they end up beating them 4-0. So they were saying when we go in the dressing room, said, no, remember we did this to Orlando Pirates, we will come back. So I told them, no, you cannot score when I'm here. If I'm the last man here, South Africa will not score. So we end up beating them 1-0. So that was one of my best games. And I used to enjoy games, all the games I played for because, when you are playing, a lot of games like Cups, you remember the BB Top 8? When Figure Hills Blues, when we played against Liverpool, yeah, we ended up beating this young man, Steven Baisa, was sent off. So they scored 2 goals, but we ended up playing at Independence because uh, we beat them 4-0. Yeah, 4-0. And it was a one of my best games, that one, because Bimbo were sent off early 10 minutes or something. And now we start enjoying the game proper. So it's one of my games there that I used to enjoy.
Rasta, you will go down in history as an African Stars legend, although you didn't play probably too long, but you are a legend, club legend. For some reason, you find a lot of players playing or staying in the game until the sunset of their playing careers. Uh, I mean, I've been in football, I've been following football, but for some reason, I think you disappeared while you were still at at the pinnacle of your football career. What happened? Why did you stop playing?
Um, I think what happened when I stopped playing, remember with Omles, there were a big meeting when me and sister went to Blue Water. We were at the Pastor Boaz Chingai, the chief now, and Blue Water needed to survive. And they were saying that no, we need only these two players. I remember Omles were talking of the cup that we played, and they're saying once you lose the cup, we will pay you. But we need these two players for us to survive. So Mr. Ibula, I think teacher Ibula, he gave his all for yes. He gave his Mercedes Benz to take us to Warfare Bay.
But traditionally, African Stars and Blue Waters have been exchanging players.
Yes.
There has been kind of a camaraderie between these two players, these two clubs, always from all those years. So you went to build Black up, the Blue Waters out of time.
And there was a game with Orlando Pirates, and Blue Water have never won Orlando Pirates. So we went there and bailed them out. So it was a very nice game because, Orlando Pirates were having good players like Samora, Steven, all those good players, forward players. Pirates used to play with more than four forwards that are just coming up front. They might be having one central defender, but you could find like people like Akab. You find him is playing as a central defender, but he's also scoring and attacking. So I used to go, and it happens that I have to go and control all these 5, 6 players that are coming. So we end up beating them and Blue Waters alive.
Who was the toughest opponent?
Samora, Poromola, Jeremiah, Yo. You see, that was the only striker that could read my mind. Samora was the only, because if you play with these other striker like Steven, Rasta, them, they could do playing one way. But Samora could dribble, and he knows that once you move, that's the time he will pass. So he's the only person who could read man. The other strikers, I could manage them proper. I pocket them. I could pocket them. I played once. They put me against was this giant from Orlando Pirates, who was playing on the left, Clinty. So Kenji was not involving much. It's only when the ball is on his feet. So I make a move, and what is that? Kataturas did me. And that time I make a move, the ball was cut and it was played again. He hit the post there, and Jiwa was saying that, no, why did you leave the person? Understand? But I said, no, I want to play. This guy is not playing. So we end up sub with him there. I came in the middle of the pitch, and then we start playing because we used to know how to kill Orlando Paris. You give them the first 20 minutes, 15 minutes. If they cannot score, then you know that they are down. Then we move forward. So second half we used to do also like so. That was a player because we could not come in contact. It was only doing reading the mind. So that's the only person who was giving me problem.
Certainly, Johnny well traveled. Where you had picked Eddie from the horse's mark. Rasta, thanks for joining us. So with that, we have come to the end of another edition of African Stars Club Legends. From all of us here, is cheers. Thanks, Mr. Kadas.